Okay, guys, am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good. So we'll start. Today we will discuss. Last time we discussed knuckle joint complete details, like what kind of different. First, we tried to go through the design of or the different parts of knuckle joint, and then we have seen the failures. What kind of failures knuckle joint will have. Now today we'll go in more details like the complete procedure for the design of knuckle joint, and at the end of this or in the second half we'll go try to go through numerical. Okay, so it's 11:02, so we can start. So just quickly 5 to 10 minutes I will just try to recap whatever we did, and we try to go through the design procedure. Okay, so let me share my presentation with you guys. Okay, so I hope my presentation is visible to all of you, and as usual, if any doubt, any queries, questions, just ask me in the chat. Okay, so my presentation is visible to you guys. If it is not, then let me know. So we have just we tried to go through what is knuckle joint. It has main three parts. If we don't include rods, we also design the rod, but mainly it has three parts: eye, fork, and knuckle pin. So we have to design all those three parts. So basically, this is the the design or the diagram which will be used for the design, and these are the dimensions we need to find out. Okay, so I'm hoping that my still I'm audible and I'm continuing with the design procedure. If any issues are there, kindly let me know. Okay, let me admit some more guys are coming. Okay. So basically, we have as a part of the design, we have to find out these dimensions. What are those dimensions? There are few diameters, two capital D's, one D and D1. D capital D is the diameter of the rod. Capital D1 is enlarged diameter of the rod. As I told you, it is 10% more or 1.1 times of D. So whatever D we have, diameter of the rod we get, we multiplied by 1.1, we'll get an enlarged diameter. So diameter is little bit more where it is joined to the knuckle joint. Okay, so we have to find these two diameters. Then we have to find out small d. Small d is the diameter of the knuckle pin. This is a crucial dimension, diameter of the knuckle pin. Then two more diameters, D0 and D1. D0 is the outside diameter of the eye or fork. The inside diameter will be equal to your diameter of the knuckle pin, right? And outside diameter of the eye or fork will be D0, right? So these two diameters, D and D0, are the inside and outside diameters of the your fork or eye. And then D1 is the head of the knuckle pin. So D1 has to be more than D and less than D0. So it is almost half. So whatever D we have, we'll take 1.5 times of that as D1, and we take D0 as twice of D as an empirical equation. So for the design, whatever D we got, diameter of the knuckle pin, multiplied by 1.5, 50% more will be head. Because of that head, it will not fall down. And then multiplied by 2, 2D will be D0 outside diameter of the IFR. So we got basically five diameters: capital D, capital D1, D, D0, and D1, right? And there are two thicknesses, A and B. A is the thickness of the fork. There are two A's below, top and below, and B is the thickness of the your eye. So once we get these dimensions, our design is complete. Now we have gone through different kinds of failures. In last lecture, we have discussed what failures it will go through: shear, and so basically your rod will undergo tensile. Pin will undergo basically main two things: pin will undergo three failures: bending, crushing, and shear failure. If it is loosely fit, then it will undergo bending. If it is tight, then it will go shear or crushing. Okay, then your eye and fork will undergo three different kinds of failure. It will undergo tensile failure, shear failure, and it might undergo crushing failure. Crush, shear, and tensile. So now how we will do the design? As I told you, it is mentioned here that A is 0.75 D and B is 1.52 times D. D1 head of the pin is 1.5 D, and D0 is we take 2 of D. Okay. Now this is the procedure for what we are going to use for the design. So there are only 5-6 steps, 7 steps are there. In 5 steps we'll calculate the dimensions, and 6th and 7th step we will just verify whatever dimensions we got, our design will not fail in that. Okay. So let me just cross check whether we are on track. No, there is nothing in the chat, so I think we are okay. So now we will just try to find out these dimensions: D, capital D1, small d, D0, D1, and A and B. Now first, using the direct failure of the rod, we stress sigma T is equal to load upon area. Load is P, area is pi by 4, capital D square. Using this equation, we will get D, capital D is equal to 4P upon pi sigma T. Now, before we start the design, we need to know sigma T, sigma C, and tau. If it is given in your problem that your knuckle pin and your iron fork are made of different material, then we have to calculate them separately, sigma T, sigma C, and tau, and use them. And if it is not mentioned, then we will assume that all of those are made of same material, and sigma T, sigma C, and tau will be same for all. So as the first step of your problem solving, we will try to find out sigma T, sigma C, and tau. Sigma T is basically whatever SYT you have got divided by factor of safety. Sigma C is same, and tau we will shear stress is 0.5, half of sigma T, or 0.5 SYT upon factor of safety. So now as a first stage we know what is the load on your knuckle pin. We also know allowable stresses sigma T, sigma C, and tau shear stress, right? So now once we know these things, we can calculate these dimensions. First, diameter of the rod capital D is equal to root of 4P upon pi sigma T. Here we know P load and we know allowable stress in the rod. So we can calculate diameter of the rod. Then we'll calculate the enlarged diameter of the rod D1 using empirical equations 1.1 D, 10 times more of that. So we got diameter of the rod and enlarged diameter of the rod. Then this A and B, thicknesses of iron fork, we use empirical equation. Thickness of the fork will be, there are two thicknesses of fork, 0.75 D, 3/4 of the diameter of the rod, and thickness of the eye we will take 1.25, 25% more than the D. Okay, so we got now A, B, capital D, and capital D1. Now we have to find out D, small d, D0, and D1, right? So small d, as we discussed, the knuckle pin will fail because of bending or shear, right? So for bending, we use this equation: D is equal to root of 32 upon pi sigma B into P by 2 B multiplied by B by 4 plus A by 3. So using this equation, we will try to find out diameter by the failure of the pin in bending, and the pin might also fail in shear, and we use the formula D is equal to 2P upon pi tau. Again, tau is equal to load upon area. Area is pi by 4 D square. So using this equation, we'll try to find out because there is a double shear, so pi by 4 D square into 2, so it becomes pi by 2 D square, right? So we get D is equal to root of 2P upon pi tau. So we'll get two diameters of the knuckle pin, one in shear, one in bending. We'll take larger of these two for our calculation. So now we have got the diameter of the knuckle pin, small d. We'll use that in the empirical equation. As I told you, outside diameter of the eye or fork is 2d, d0, and the head of the knuckle pin is 1.5d. So half more than the diameter of the knuckle pin will be head, and twice will be the outside diameter of eye or fork. So we got all the dimensions. Now we'll make sure that our this thing will not fail. Okay, let me check anybody is there. Okay, fine. So we'll now once we have all the dimensions, we'll check whether our eye or fork will fail in all these different criteria. Now for the eye and fork, like say for the eye, sigma t is given by P upon B into D0 minus D. P is load, and area avoiding the shear tensile failure is B into D0 minus D. Crushing failure P upon BD, and tau shear failure will be P upon B D0 minus D, right? So these are the failure of your I, and similarly fork will again fail in three ways: sigma t, sigma c, and tau. Sigma t failure in tensile failure is P upon 2a d0 minus d. Now because fork has two what you can say two part, top and bottom, so everything is multiplied. Areas are multiplied by 2, and instead of b, now here it will be a. So, but otherwise formulas are same. So sigma t is equal to P upon 2a d0 minus d. Sigma crushing failure is P upon 2ad, and shear stress is equal to P upon 2a d0 minus d. So we have to just make sure that all whatever sigma t, sigma c, and tau we are getting, those are below allowable limit we calculated as the first step. Okay. Once it is fine, then we can say our dimensions are fine and our design is complete, right? So this is the procedure we will use for the design of the knuckle joint. Okay. Anybody has any doubt? Now we have gone through the all the failures, all the steps, and we have just saw how to complete the design of the knuckle joint. Now we'll take actual numerical problem. Anybody is having any doubt till now? Is anybody there, or you just started your screen and you
Yes,
went?
sir. I have a doubt.
Yes, yes. Please ask. Who was that? Simran? Somebody said they have a doubt. Yes, you can go ahead. You can ask me in chat, or you can ask me in phone. Okay. So if the crushing stress calculated in the first step is equal to the crushing stress calculated by formula. Okay. Well, in the first stage, which first stage? If it is equal, then it is fine. It is fine. So in the first stage, we will find out allowable crushing. That with that crushing stress, we will say allowable crushing stress. That is the our for the design crushing stress. So SYT or the ultimate stress, you will be given some number, right? Divided with the factor of safety to calculate the allowable crushing stress or design crushing stress. Now that crushing stress should be always be more than whatever stresses you are getting in your design, right? So your question is, if the crushing stress calculated in the first stage, that is design or allowable crushing stress, equal to the crushing stress calculated by formula, if it is equal, then we are fine because it is not going beyond it. But whatever we calculated in the last stage is more stress in your design is more than the allowable, then you have to change the dimension. Now use that new stress in the equation and again modify the dimension. So your dimensions will be more, your diameter will increase, right? So whenever design fails in any stage, using the same stage we will modify the dimensions. Like say we are using say this equation, like say sigma t is equal to P upon 2a d0 minus d. Here it fails, then in that case we'll use the allowable or the design stress and calculate d0 or d1. So this will obviously more than the whatever we calculated in previous stages. Okay, I will repeat this this step again. If somehow in your when you are checking the stresses, your stress you got is more than the allowable stress, then we'll use the same equation, because in this equation we got the stress more, right? So we'll use the same equation to calculate the dimension. We'll go opposite. Say assume say consider the very last stage, tau is equal to P upon 2a d0 minus d. Here your tau got more than the whatever it was in the design, or the design's shear stress we got, and because of the a was small. So what we'll do, we'll take that now that stress whatever we got, use the P and calculate a again. So now a will be more, and use that a again to do the all the validation again, right? So basically you will increase the dimension where it is failing, and again verify for that new dimension whether your all the stresses are in the limits. Okay. Is your doubt clear? Means if it is clear, then we can proceed. Okay, fine. So to simply answer your question, if the stress we got by calculation is equal to the design stress, any crushing or tensile stress, then we'll say our design is okay. If it is more, then we have to modify the dimensions and do the verification again. Okay. Fine. So we have gone through the procedure. So if nobody has have any doubt, then we will go ahead with the numerical. Okay. So let me just come out of this screen of sharing this presentation. Okay, let me just close it so that it will take less resources on my screen. Okay, so now we will start with the numerical of design of the knuckle joint. Okay, so basically now we will have some kind of load, and then we will try to find out the what you can say dimensions. Okay. Okay, see, today's will let me know if the sound is visible. I am taking a numerical, whatever numerical we took, we are using the same numerical, same load, but now we'll design a knuckle joint. If audio is not, it is not audible video, kindly let me know in the chat. I am watching the chat. Okay, we'll start. Go through the numerical for the knuckle joint design. We have, it is assumption that prior to this lecture that we have gone through the procedure for the design of the knuckle joint. We understood what is the knuckle joint, where it is used, what are different parts of knuckle joint, and in design of knuckle joint, how to design those parts. Basically, it is mainly consisted of three parts: eye, fork, and knuckle pin. Right. So in that knuckle pin, and that is the part which is the main component which mainly fails, and then we also have to do the design of the fork and the design of the eye. So we'll go through the procedure for this knuckle joint design. We have gone through that in prior to this lecture, but quickly we'll just go through what are the different steps we have to carry out to complete the design. Now we need to have a few diameters. First is the diameter of the rod, then the diameter of the enlarged diameter of the rod. As I said, the rod has to be, we have to enlarge it little bit to make it more in strength. So that diameter we the symbol we use capital D and capital D1. D for the diameter of the rod, capital D1 for the enlarged diameter of the rod. Then we have diameter of the pin. It is denoted by symbol small d. Then we have D0 and D1. D0 is D1 is the head of your knuckle pin, right? And D0 is outside diameter of your fork or eye. The inside diameter will be equal to D, right? So these are the diameters we need to find out for the design of knuckle joint, and also we have to find out thicknesses A and B. Now A and B is the thickness of the eye, and B is the thickness of the eye, and A is thickness of fork. This A is 2 times, it is, we have two thicknesses for the fork, so it is less in dimension. So A is thicknesses, the 2 thicknesses of the fork, and B is thickness of the eye, right? So using this procedure, we will calculate the different dimensions, and then we use these dimensions to check out different failures. So first we will calculate the diameter of the rod, capital D, using formula 4p upon pi sigma d root of it, right? So here we use sigma d is equal to load upon stress is equal to load upon area. So load is p, area is pi by 4 d square, and using that formula we get d capital D, that is diameter of the rod, as 4p upon pi sigma d, right? Then enlarged diameter, it is 10 times more, 10% more than the regular diameter of the rod. So it is 1.1 of d. We take it we calculate it using empirical equation. The two thicknesses, these are again we use empirical equations. 0.75 d, 3/4 of the diameter is the thickness of the fork, and thickness of the eye is basically 1.25 d, right? Then we use two equations. We have we know how to or why we use this equation. We use two equations for calculation of the diameter of the knuckle pin. This equation is because of the bending, right? And this equation is because of the shear. D is equal to 2p upon pi tau, shear stress, allowable shear stress. And here we have D is equal to root of 32 upon pi sigma p into p by 2, in the bracket b by 4, a by 3. Here we know a and b. So this is the equation for if it is failing because of the bending. This is if it is failing because of the shear. Knuckle pin mainly fail because of shear or bending. If the joint is loose, it will fail because of bending, or it will fail because of the shear. It also fails because of the crushing, but the diameter is very less. So we use these two formulas to calculate D, and whatever larger we get out of these two, we'll use it for our calculation. Right? Now once we know the diameter of the knuckle pin, then we use the empirical equation to calculate the head will be 50% more, 1.5 times of the D, and this outside diameter of the IR4 will be twice of the diameter, so double of the diameter. So basically, whatever we have this IR4, this is double of this, right? And then once we have all these dimensions, we know all the diameters, all the thicknesses, we use it for calculation of the tensile of the shear, different kind of failures, different kind of stresses, and we'll make sure that these stresses, whatever we are getting in the our knuckle joint, those are less than the allowable stresses, right? So this tensile crushing and shear we have to do it for both eye and the forearm. Right, because we found out the dimension by using the failure of the knuckle pin, and once we know the dimensions, we will use those dimensions for the finding out different kind of failures of the eye and the forearm. Right, so this is the procedure we follow: D1, capital D1, A, D, small d, D0, D1, and check different failures. Right, so this is the procedure we'll use for the design of the knuckle joint. Now we have taken a problem that whatever we did for the quarter joint, we are using the same kind of load. The load is 50 kilonewton. So our knuckle joint has to carry a tensile load of 50 kilonewton. So we are applying a load of 50 kilonewton, almost like 5 ton actually, 50 kilonewton. So with that load, our knuckle joint has to, it has to survive that. It should not fail for that. So factor of safety, so for material is used as SYT as 3C8. So yield stress is 400 Newton per mm square, and factor of safety we are going to use is 5, because here stress concentration is not considered. So factor of safety is little bit higher. So now for the load of 50 kilonewton. For the limiting stress is 400 Newton per mm square and factor of 55, we will design the knuckle. Okay. Okay. Now whatever we discussed, let's start with the procedure for the knuckle joint. So what is given is we have the load stresses, and we have to find out. So we know P given. What is given? P is 50 kilonewton. 50 into 10 to 3 newton, right? That is, we are using 50 kilonewton. So it is 50 into 10 to 3 newton. We directly, okay, is it visible? It's visible. So our load given is 50 kilonewton. Then SYT is given as 400 Newton per mm square. SYT 400 Newton per mm square, and factor of safety is given as 5. So for any design, like for our last design we used, like first thing we have to do is we have to calculate the allowable stresses, whatever stresses which we are going to use in our for the design, right? So we have to find out sigma t, sigma c, and tau allowable, which is which is allowable as per our design. That is allowable. How we will calculate that? It is the limiting stress upon factor of safety, right? So first, if the material for your knuckle pin and the I4 are different, we have to calculate them separately and use them separately. But since here it is, they have mentioned that all of them are made of same material, so we will calculate only once and use it for our design. So we have to calculate sigma t, sigma c, and tau, right? Allowable tensile stress, allowable compressive stress, and SI. Now this is SYT upon factor of safety. This is again SYT upon factor of safety, and this is 0.5 half of SYT upon factor of safety. So SYT is 400 upon 5. This comes 80 Newton per mm square. Okay, this will again come to 80 Newton per mm square. Compressive and crushing stress and tensile stresses are same. And this is 0.5 of 400 upon 5. It will be 40 Newton per mm. So whatever allowable stresses we have got are 80 Newton per mm square is allowable tensile stress. Allowable compressive stress is 80 Newton per mm square, and shear stress is 40 Newton per mm square. Okay, so now we have got allowable stress sigma t is equal to sigma c is equal to 80 Newton per mm square right? And we got tau as 40 Newton per mm square, right? So these are whatever was given to us. Now using these, we will try to calculate the different dimensions of our knuckle joint. Now first step is to calculate. We have this E is equal to root of 4p upon 5 sigma t, right? Where sigma t is allowable tensile stress, right? P is the load and D is the diameter of the, what it is. Let me just take out some because I have to write all the dimensions. So here we can see. So here load is root of 4 into 50 into 10 raised to 3, right? Pi allowable stress is 80, right? So allowable stress is 80. Fine. So this will come to B is equal to, will be around 50. The answer for this is 28.2. The diameter for the design, diameter of the rod, this diameter of the rod which we need to design is 28.21. But we will not, because practically we round it off. So we will take the diameter as we take 30 mm. Okay. The diameter of the rod for the design will be 30 mm. Right. So now D1 enlarge diameter. Now where this is the rod, right? Wherever it is joined, we have a little bit more dimensions. Diameter will be a little bit more than that, and then there will be joint in front of that. So this is D, this is D1. This D1 is 1.1 of D. So it is 1.1 of 30, which is 33 mm. So we'll take D1 as 35 mm. So we got two dimensions: diameter of the rod and enlarged diameter of the rod. So D is equal to 30 mm and D1 is equal to 35 mm. So we got two dimensions in this way, right? Now next step. Now we have seen that we use empirical equations to calculate next what you can say A and B. A is what? Thickness of is 0.75 D. It is thickness of the fork, right? And B is 1.25 D, thickness of the. This is what you can say I. This is thickness of the fork. And this is I. So A will be 0.75 into, right? This will be actually not D because it is capital D. These are the diameter of the rod, not the diameter of the small d is diameter of the knuckle pin. Right? So this is 30, which 3/4 of 30 is I think 22.5 mm, and so we'll take it and B is equal to 1.5 of 30. So it is 37.5 mm. Right? These are the dimensions we got. So we'll take approximation of that 25 and 40 mm. 25 mm. So we got the thickness A, thickness of the I is 14, thickness of the fork is 20, 25 thickness of the fork is 25 and thickness B is 40. Okay. So we got A and B, right? Now what is the next step? We got D, we got D1, we got A, we got B. Now next stage is to calculate D. For D, we have there are two formulas. One is for the failure by the shear, and one is failure by the 50 upon pi sigma by tau. Now P is 2 into 50 into 10 raised to 3 upon pi, and tau is, what is tau here is 40. So root of that, right? So with this we will get the diameter of. We get a diameter of this. We solve this equation. We get a diameter of 28.21 of 30 mm. 28.21, or we can say approximately 30 mm. So we got the diameter of the knuckle pin as 30 mm in the diameter, right? So going to be second formula, V is equal to formula for your bending 32 upon pi sigma B into P by 2, P by 4, P by 2 into B by 4 plus P by 2. Right? So using this equation, we will try to solve this bending equation. So here we put the value 32, sigma, like allowable bending stress is 80, 5 into 80 into P by 2, 50 into 10 to the 3 upon 2, root of that. And this is multiplied by B by 4, B is 40 by 4 plus 25 by 10. So we will solve this equation and we will get 38.79, or we will say 40 mm. So we got this now. This is one diameter 30 mm. So it will, for shear same diameter is 30, and for bending diameter is 40, and for shear is 30. So larger of these two will take, larger of these two is 40 mm, right? So we'll take B, diameter of knuckle pin as 40 mm. So allowable or safe diameter for the knuckle pin, which will not fail in shear as well as it will not fail in bending, is 40. So we got now D. So again we will use empirical equations to D is equal to D0 and D1. D0 and D1. D0 is 1.5 times of D. This is 2 times of D. D1 is what you can say, it is actually opposite. This should be 2. This is outside diameter of pi or 4, right? And this is head diameter of pin. Right? So this is equal to twice B. We got D, so it is 80 mm, and D1 is 60. So for this pin, whatever pin we are going to design, right? This we have got this as 40. This is 60 diameter, and now this I will be like on top of this there will be I, and this I will be having a diameter of 80. Right? So we have diameter now D0 as 80 mm and D1 as 60 mm. Right? So these are the dimensions which we will need to complete the design of knuckle joint. Right? So we have now all the dimensions whatever are required. Right? So we have D. We have D1. What is D? D is diameter of the rod, enlarged diameter of the rod. A and the thickness of this is thickness of the eye, this is thickness of the fork. D, diameter of the knuckle pin. D0 and D1, diameter of the head and outside diameter of the fork. Now we have all the dimensions. Now with this our dimensions part is done. Our dimension part is done. Now we use this dimension to check different kinds of failure, and like basically our fork and eye will fail in shear, crushing, right? Right. So for that we will check whether this our joint whatever we have designed it will survive, or it might fail in 3 ways. It might fail in normal tensile stress, crushing, or it might fail in your shear. So we have to, for all these 3 we have to check whether our design will work or miss our joint will not fail. Okay. So we'll try first. Let's check for the eye. Checking eye, right? So we'll check for the first for the eye. Now eye stresses. Let's call it eye stresses. Okay. First eye stress is now is stress sigma T, P upon V into V0 minus T. If you remember the formula for this is stress in the what you can say I failure. D0 is outside diameter, D is inside diameter, thickness of the your eye, and P is now load. This is 50 into 10 raised to 5, that 10 raised to 3, and V is thickness. What we got? We got 40. D0 minus B. D0 is 80 minus 40. Right? So with this, the answer we will get is 31.25. 31.25 Newton per mm. Now what is allowable sigma t? This sigma t is less than sigma t allowable, right? So our design is here. Which is what is sigma t allowable? Which is less than, let's say instead of putting sigma t allowable, let's put it as 80. Allowable is 80. So our stress in our joint is 31.25, which is less than that, so our design is safe. Right? So this is now first part A. Let's now try to find out the crushing failure. Sigma C. Sigma C is equal to P upon BD. P is equal to 50 to 10 raised to 3. Thickness we got 40. Now all this is we are doing for the eye, right? For eye this is more, 40 into D is 40. So this will be again 31.25. This will again come to 31.25 Newton per mm square. So this sigma C is less than 80 Newton per mm square. So design is safe. Right? So we check our design is safe or not in both these. Now third is shear failure. Now shear failure of the pin will be tau is equal to P upon B D0 minus B. Tau is equal to P upon whatever we are using in a first position. Right? So this is again it will come to I think same number. It will 31.25 because all the values are same Newton per mm square. So shear stress in our joint is 31.25 Newton per mm square, and allowable which is less than 40. Limiting allowable is safe. Right? So we check our eye. Our eye will fail in three ways. It will fail because of the tensile failure, crushing failure, or shear failure. And we check that our eye is okay. The stress, tensile stress in our eye is 31.25, which is less than allowable. Allowable is 80. Actual stress is 400, but because of factor of safety, we are taking 80, and our stress in our joint is less than that, so our design is safe. Similarly, same for crushing, similarly for shear stress. So when we verify all these stresses are within limits, we can say our eye will not fail because of any of it. Okay. So similarly, we will do checking of. Now this eye we checked, so we will see 4 stresses, right? And then we will see whether our design is safe or not for the fork, right? So checking. Checking stresses in fork. Right? So similarly, our fork will undergo same kind of 3 different kind of stresses: tensile, this thing, and okay. So sigma T is equal to P upon 2A D0 minus 2A D0 minus. So P is 50 to 10 raised to 3. Okay. 2A is 25, D0 minus is 80 minus 4. So with this we get sigma T, that stresses in our knuckle joint developed are which is 25 Newton per mm square. And which is sigma T is less than 80 Newton per mm square. So design is our design of the fork is safe for the tensile failure. Is safe. So our fork will not fail because of the tensile failure. Similarly,